Hey there, welcome to an English video. Today is gonna be Am I the a-hole? Just to try an experiment over here. So let's start. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend his cancer isn't that serious? Okay, we're starting off in the right track. Let's see. My cousin, 32 female, told me 25 female that she recently lost her twin pregnancy due to it being ectopic. She has 3 kids with her abusive ex-husband, and she finally met a good guy and settled down with him a couple years after leaving her ex. Thank God she found someone right. I told my boyfriend, 26 male, and he said that my cousin is fine and that she didn't lose anything. He mentioned that she already has children and used it as a point to imply that what her situation is somehow diminished because she already hit the goal of having kids. To his credit, he said some stuff about the removal was needed to save her life, etc., something I knew already, and generally discussed it in a medical sense. He works in the medical field. Certain things he said just lacked compassion, and that didn't sit well with me at all. I can see why. I tried many different ways to show him that he was being callous, telling him he needed to see things from a human POV, and that yes, this may be just another Monday for him, but it's life altering for someone else. His rebuttal was that it's his medical POV and is not being calloused. He said that it's sad that she lost the babies, but it's worse when he has to break the news to someone who doesn't already have kids because this problem can affect fertility. I get what he's saying, but this isn't a struggle contest, and that compassion seemed disingenuous, especially when he went in with that. But he said we will all agree to disagree. I'm sorry, my throat is a little bit sore. And here is where I might be the a-hole. Earlier this year, he learned that had of a particular type of cancer. He was an absolute champ and was so brave about everything. He caught it really early and had the affected body part removed. The surgery was likely curative, but he did one round of chemo just in case, and again that chemo was rough, and he knew how bad it can be because he's had to deal with cancer patients before. Some facts about his cancer. It has a survival rate of almost 100%. I think it was 95 or somewhere around there. He caught it super early, stage 1. Chemo is regardless, however, he had it much easier than most because he did one compared to the many rounds of other persons may subject to. He refused to listen to my logic and see my POV with regards to my cousin, so I flipped the scenario. Told him that he's okay and he didn't lose anything, exact words he used when we spoke about my cousin, because he had one round of chemo and he can survive just fine without the body part he had to remove. I told him that other people had it worse and he shouldn't make such a deal about it. He got mad and told me I'm minimizing his struggles and refuses to talk to me until I apologize. I even attached the pic of his social media bio where he had cancer survivor and some other cancer related inspirational stuff. I told him I didn't mean any of that, I just wanted to show him the way he sounded to me when he was talking about my cousin. So let's see what Reddit has to say about it. I've seen 3 comments about not the a-hole because he deserved it, but this one is spot on. Not the a-hole, it's the she didn't lose anything comment that really does it for me. That's not a medical POV, that's just being a jerk. And it's funny that he got so irate when the logic was flipped on him. It's like, oh, so now it is an insensitive comment. Jeez, and this guy is out here working with patients. Not the a-hole for me. Let's go to the second one. Am I the a-hole for not simply agreeing with my spouse that I've been an a-hole? Mean unreasonable. The precipitating event was tonight while my 2.5-year-old was sitting on my lap refusing to eat dinner. I was focused on him, trying to coax him to eat, while he insists screams about it, watches something cocomelonish on my phone. Not ideal. My wife is across the breakfast bar, not directly dealing with any of this, as my almost 5-year-old is sitting beside me, wanting to watch as well and not eating her dinner either. Earlier in that day, I had taken 2.5-year-old to a local market to buy a Christmas gift for my son-in-law, a handmade pottery mug. Gift exchange this year is handmade. It is sitting in a bag to the side during dinner. My wife asks at one point, "What does it look like?" She is far closer to it than I am, and crazily just look in the bag. My response is a fairly exasperated, "I don't know, just look at it." This results in fairly immediate silent treatment, where she immediately starts to putting dinner away. I had to ask her to get something back out after our daughter asked for it, and it was already in the fridge. After kids' bedtime, we usually each do one kid. I come down to say I have work, occupation, that I need to do, and head toward the basement. She stops me to say she wants to talk to me. She's been doing some therapy to deal with the shitstorm that was her upbringing, and said that this has led her to want to address things with me as well. I see that she tells me: 1. There's nothing you could do that would justify you speaking to me that way. 2. It doesn't matter what the circumstances were. You shouldn't talk to me like that. 3. I am afraid to even bring this up since you'll just have some justification for your tone. I asked if she wanted me to respond, and she said, "I don't know." I replied that since she had already decided I had no possible valid reaction to this, aside falling to my knees and groveling for her forgiveness, that I instead had work to do, and went to the basement, my office. Update. I appreciate the feedback. I most certainly was an a-hole-ish when left the room. Reading some comments convinced me to expedite my apology and ideas for staying in the morning. I apologized mainly for being dismissive when she was trying to talk to me, as that is the part that upset her the most. The precipitating event is not likely to be discussed any further at this point, but next time I will try to adjust my tone and just explicitly state that I have a lot going on right now and don't have the capacity for chatting about XYZ, as that may not have been clear to her. I do think it should be clear, but it may not have been. Info, to clear up some assumptions. At the time, I was sitting with the kid while she was eating herself and beginning to clean up the kitchen. This is normal, goes both ways. One of us focused on the kids while the other keeping the house going. The one kid always has the biggest task. The one with the kid has always the biggest task. I made dinner. Neither of us work outside the home on Saturdays. She obviously did not ask me to grovel. That was my exaggeration back to her of what she said to me. That was basically giving me no other option. It's verbatim. I wrote the post almost immediately after it happened. So someone here is saying, not the a-hole. One thing I learned from my therapist is that you, accusatory statement like she used, are not exactly gonna give you the response you want. Once you guys start using "I feel" expression, there may be a lot more room for actual communication. You handle it well. Number 2, not the a-hole. She made it plain that she didn't want to hear anything he had to say about it. While he was short, not even snotty, just short. It's going to be a long haul if every time someone gets exasperated while trying to feed another toddler and a small child, the other party takes it personally. Third one, not the a-hole. She was being self-righteous and didn't even know what she wanted. She couldn't even explain how she wanted to proceed. She just picked a fight, assumed the worst of you, and shut down the conversation once she said her piece. I don't care what her therapist says. She got on a soapbox to pick that fight and didn't engage. She set you up to fail with that one. And Reddit says, not the a-hole. And I agree.